Hey there, inspired soul. Welcome to the Divinely Inspired Living podcast. I'm your host, Erin Barcelos, angel intuitive, spiritual life coach, and manifestation expert. I'm so glad you're here. Together, we're going to be tuning into the universe, radiating the highest version of ourselves, and manifesting a life beyond our wildest dreams. It's my mission to support you in reclaiming your gifts from ancient lifetimes, developing a strong relationship with your angels and spirit guides, and living life in passionate co-creation with the love of the universe. Because here's the thing, at the end of our lives, this time around, we want to be able to say one thing: mission accomplished. Thank you so much for being here. Let's dive deep. Hey, welcome back to the Divinely Inspired Living podcast. I am so glad you're here, and we are jumping right into episode 11, which is part 2 of If I Can Do It, You Can Do It Too. And it's this sacred time and space where we have Erin, myself, along with Caroline, coming together in this open-hearted, soul-filled, deep dive convo.
Hi, Erin. Hi, soul family. Thank you so much for having me. Truly, this is such an honor.
It is so good to be back, and it is absolutely wonderful to share our stories and to hear all of the amazing details, Caroline, that you've been sharing with us about your journey, your growth, your transformation. Wow. And there's really just so much transformation to celebrate. And the word transformation just sums it all up so completely. Because you were sharing that you went from this place of feeling alone and hiding and using substances as a way to cope with the deep knowing that you had a big role to play in this lifetime. And you went from not trusting others, especially groups of women, to this place of, I don't feel alone anymore. I don't feel alone anymore because I've accepted and embraced who I really am. And I'm not afraid to say that. And now I know that there's others like me. And holy cow, who would have known how awesome love can be when you have people in your life that you resonate with like this so strongly.
Absolutely. I was 100% convinced that there was something intrinsically wrong with me and that I was going to spend the rest of my life feeling that way and feeling alone and feeling broken and not knowing how to get out of that. And it's just, gratitude doesn't even begin to cover how just elated I am to honor all of those parts of me that felt that way, but to say there's so much more than that pain. There is so much out there, so much love, so much connection. And in one of your previous episodes, you talked about the shedding of the layers, the onion. And I think one thing that has repeatedly come up for me is, for so long, my identity was so tied into these painful feelings that I assumed that's who I was to my core. But to my great surprise, it was just a really thick layer. And after having shed that, I mean, it's a conscious effort to continue to shed and to continue to grow, but to not feel so encapsulated by that one layer is true freedom. And one thing that's been important to me along this journey is to honor who I was, who I am, and who I'm becoming, and certain defense mechanisms or coping mechanisms, to really understand how those served me at one point for protection, for security, for comfort, for a number of different reasons. To look at those versions of myself and thank those versions, and to honor those versions and those coping mechanisms that eventually stopped serving me. But to go back to that time and to be grateful. And one of the things that we talked about during this last retreat, one of the exercises that one of the other sisters facilitated was to go back and understand how to make the connection of those feelings and those experiences in the past and what gifts those have given us in the version that we are now. And I never really thought of it that way, like as a gift. And for me, one of those gifts is a true understanding of how deep pain can feel. And on the other side, how intense joy can feel. And to really appreciate the entire spectrum of emotions. And it's the duality that is life. You know, you can't have the good without the bad, the contrast, the light without the dark. You have to have both. And I feel grateful for the intensity of pain that I have felt, because it opened up the other end of that to the immense amount of love and joy that I am able to feel within my being. And if I had to go back and do it again, I would. Because it is so worth it. And worthiness. Whew. Worthiness has been a very difficult topic for me. There were a number of experiences in my lifetime, in my childhood, in my teenage years, in my young 20s, where that was really challenged for me. I did not feel worthy of love. I did not feel worthy of healing. I did not even really feel worthy of taking up space on this planet. And the true healing has come from really stepping into that worthiness. And that has been really, really fostered through our time together and the programs that I have been a part of through Divinely Inspired Living. It was a difficult one. It took a lot of digging. It took a lot of looking in the mirror, literally and figuratively, to really accept that I deserve to be here just as much as everybody else. I deserve to take up space. I deserve to use my voice. I deserve to feel loved and give love. What I have to say is worth saying. What I have to give is worth giving. And the effort and the time that I've put in thus far to grow and to heal, I am absolutely worth it. And so are you.
If I can do it, you can do it too. If I can do it, you can do it too. If I can do it, you can do it too. If I can do it, you can do it too. If I can do it, you can do it too. If I can do it, you can do it too.
And something that has been so fun is with every layer that has been shed that no longer serves me. Of course, when you get rid of something, that leaves a space. Seeing what has come in to fill that space, oh my gosh, it's just been a real joy to connect with my spirit guides that I always knew were there, but never really understood or could really hear very clearly. But the more gunk that I pull out and get rid of, the clearer I can hear them. The easier it is to connect with divine love, with spirit, with God, with all of these wonderful beings of love that give me messages in so many different ways. Sometimes I hear the message. Sometimes I feel the message. Sometimes I see the message. And the things that I have been able to manifest and call into my life have been beyond my wildest dreams. And I know that this is just the beginning, and that's really exciting.
Oh, wow. If I can do it, you can do it too. If I can do it, you can do it too. If I can do it, you can do it too. If I can do it, you can do it too. If I can do it, you can do it too. If I can do it, you can do it too. Yeah, there's so many things that you've shared that I'm feeling your power and really celebrating with you. Like one specifically, you said with such confidence, and I've never heard you say this before. My mission in this life is to share these tools with others. Just to be in this space with you now. And as we're like sharing this space together and hearing your story and what's being birthed, like out of our journey together, I never heard you say that. I never heard you own your mission like you did today. Like it's like, oh, this is a woman who knows why she's here and she's actively doing it. And yeah, maybe it's one of those important things to note for our other soul family who's listening to this and participating with us virtually. That didn't come easy. And that hasn't always been there, that clarity, that claiming, that, you know, there's a part of like really honoring this process. It's a process. Like you said, like peeling back these layers of pain that our identity gets so wrapped up in, and the willingness to keep showing up and to do the work and to have faith that there is a power greater than us. And even with the slightest opening to this power that's greater than us, this divine love, the slightest opening of a green light allows for straight up miracles to happen.
So you asked me why or what has caused me or inspired me to say yes to all of this, and to say yes time and time again. I found myself at a place in my life where I was so exhausted and so sick of the patterns that kept repeating and repeating and repeating and repeating. And I felt like I was just on this merry-go-round where I wasn't seeing anything different, where I wasn't moving forward, where I was feeling so stuck, where I was turning to the same things for comfort, where I was finding myself relating to people in the same ways that I found myself in the same type of relationship that was not serving my highest good. I kept finding myself feeling these deep feelings of sadness and deep feelings of longing and a desire, a true desire to grow and to move forward and to get out of this rut that I had created for myself by doing things exactly the same way time and time again. Maybe I changed geographic locations, but I never really changed within myself. And I knew that I wanted to so badly, and I knew that I was destined for so much more than these repeating patterns. And when you came to me and told me about Tune In, Radiate, Manifest, I knew that I had to be part of it. I knew that it was the answer to my prayers. I knew that it was what was next for me. Just felt so right. And my trust in you was so strong that I was certain. And my trust in the divine. And my knees, like you said, my knees were freaking shaking. I had no idea what was in store. I didn't know what it was going to be like. I didn't know what I was going to be like. I didn't know what the other people were going to be like. And despite all of that, I was so sure that it was what was next for me that there was no doubt in my mind. And once I got a taste of what was possible for me, with healing, with growth, with expansion, no matter what came up, there was no other answer in my mind but yes, over and over and over and over again. Even if I knew it was going to be a little uncomfortable, even if I knew it was going to be difficult, it was just this positive feedback loop of like, you do the work, you feel better. You do the work, you feel better. And that has not changed once since the beginning. And that's what keeps me coming back for more, and what will continue to keep me coming back for more, because the richness and the quality of the true transformation, one step at a time, one bite at a time, one little bit at a time, it's so very real. And it didn't happen overnight. But every time I have said yes and planted that foot, even if it was shaking, the results have been such that I want to keep going. And I'm more motivated for growth than I am for anything else. And it's like a snowball effect. Like, the more I feel it, the hungrier I am for it, and the bigger the results are. And, at first it may have been like dipping a toe, like, oh, okay, yep, I can do this. Feels a little scary, but I can do this. And every time I step into a new layer, it may feel that way at first, and then it's like, okay, I'm all in. Like, doesn't take a very long time, because it's immediately confirmed that, yes, this is what's next for me.
If I can do it, you can do it too. If I can do it, you can do it too. If I can do it, you can do it too. If I can do it, you can do it too. I'm so glad you joined us for another episode of the Divinely Inspired Living podcast. We have more to this conversation coming up in episode 12. So I invite you and encourage you to stay tuned for this awesome deep dive to just continue. We also have a very special invitation coming up on the next episode. So put your party pants on and your lucky underwear when you come on over to episode 12. We're having so much fun already, and it's only going to get better from here. Feel free to meet us on over in the Facebook group, Inspired Souls Creating Radiant Intuitive Lives. That's a wonderful place for us to connect and continue the conversation. You can find Caroline in there as well, and all of her social media information can be found in the show notes. Thanks again for being here, and we'll see you on the next episode. I'm doing a serious happy dance that you made it all the way to the end of this episode. Way to go for showing up for yourself. And thanks so much for hanging out here with me. If you're feeling inspired, uplifted, moved, or you simply just loved what you heard today, please share the love by heading over to iTunes and Spotify and leaving a rating and review. Also, if you know anyone who you think would benefit from today's episode, please pass the love on to them as well. These special acts of service allow me to keep the good stuff coming. Plus, it's like sharing miracles. For more inspiration on soul-led living, connect with me on Instagram, TikTok, and Facebook at Divinely Inspired Living. I'm sending you a big hug, lots of love. The light within me honors and acknowledges the light within you. Namaste.